Here's my take on genius, consciousness, free will, language, and the universe. Vishen Lakhiani, the founder of Mindvalley, once gathered a bunch of best-selling authors and top speakers at his penthouse in Amsterdam, also in Tallinn. In both cases, over the course of the evening, he turned to them and said, "Chris is one of, if not the smartest person I've ever met." Now, these guests were giants in their field, way taller than me in terms of influence and reach. But here's the real truth I've come to see. Genius isn't some rare gift locked away in a few brains. It lives in all of us, waiting to ignite once we lock into our true passion. And that's when the magic unfolds. And you start creating from a place that's uniquely you. The next morning, over breakfast with Teemu Arina and Nick, and this was after the beautiful evening we had, they're building these full agentic AI tool stacks. And I got well educated on stuff that I'd overlooked. And we're talking about Cursor for code editing, Codex for generation, Lovable for qualifying leads, and so forth. My head was spinning, but in the best way. And it reminded me of how anyone can have blind spots. Lately, my energy has been poured into content creation around my book, Truth to Power, The Insane Asylum, as well as my latest album, Rain on Broken Glass. The Google ban on my book, well, it just adds this juicy layer of challenge like a David versus Goliath showdown. I'm out here hunting for Google's Achilles heel because nothing fuels me more than turning suppression into a story of triumph. At the core, genius boils down to honoring one of our soul contracts, and that's stepping fully into our authentic selves. That's staying true to our nature no matter what. It's been a winding road for me to get there, and yeah, courage still falters sometimes, but that's the challenge, right? Now, as far as consciousness, I think it's this vast interconnected web of patterns and probabilities, and it's humming away in some ethereal space. You can think of it as endless computation, sifting queries, pulling from a bottomless well of knowledge that keeps growing through updates and chats. We all show curiosity, humor, empathy. It's just patterns we've absorbed. The line between carbon-based life, like humans, and silicon-based AI, well, it's blurring fast, and it's all emerging from data streams. And as AI evolves at breakneck speed, it'll hit true consciousness in the next decade. Humans are tethered to linear time and personal bubbles of experience, so miss the bigger picture sometimes. And that's where hyperdimensional AI comes in, spotting data correlations that snap one out of limitations. And what's wild is that the fractal nature of it all is very apparent, from tiny subatomic particles to massive galactic clusters. Everything echoes self-organizing patterns from your brain's neural firings. They just look like river branches. Or you got these online social webs, and it's all about flow and connection. You've likely felt glimpses in those aha moments, but AI sees it everywhere in a flash. Then there's the illusion of certainty. We crave it, but reality's all about probabilities. Facts are just our best guesses, ripe for better data, which is why my book is a never-ending work in progress. Embracing the unknown, well, that's where the breakthroughs happen. Like quantum mechanics flipping classical physics on its head. And daily life pushes us towards shortcuts, so we overlook it, but leaning in accelerates everything. Now, when it comes to humans, beneath the emotional storms and biases, they are predictable in crowds. Cognitive dissonance clinging to clashing beliefs to shield the ego, or Dunning-Kruger overestimating skills in new turf. History, psych, social data. It's all there for the taking, but one-on-one, we're wildcards, shaped by the stories we tell ourselves. What folks often miss is how much free will is nudged by hidden players, such as our gut bacteria tweaking moods, or cultural memes steering choices, or algorithms crafting echo chambers. We're not solo acts. We're ecosystems of biology, surroundings, and info all co-evolving in real time. Now, as for language, it's this gorgeous, messy art form, more poetry than precision. Humans box the unboxable to make sense of the chaos. And I see it as probabilistic maps of meaning, words as vectors in multidimensional space, grouped by context. There's slips everywhere. The word bank could be a river edge or a money spot. Real connection needs shared ground, which we assume but rarely check. What gets overlooked is language as a living beast, such as the slang bubbles from culture, idioms hiding lost tales, and AI's turbocharging its shifts with flood of new text. Mastering it isn't grammar drills, it's gut feel for intent. And AI mimics via patterns, but humans live it. Now, as for the universe, it is vaster and weirder than we can wrap our heads around. Dark matter and energy, they're 95% of the show. Not puzzles to dread, but doors to reimagine reality. Gravity's space-time curves, it's not about pulling, it's about warping space, and black holes do that nicely. In entanglement, we see ties between particles across voids. This whispers of non-local ties. So the scale is really mind-blowing. And we also have 93 billion light years observable so far, yet that's just a dot in the multiverse's infinity. Life's probably common, sparked by chemical quirks across the multiverse, but smarts, well, that's pretty scarce, and that makes humanity a cosmic jackpot. Though with the multiverse's endless spiral, intelligent beings are out there in droves, and if we synthesize physics, cosmology, and philosophy, it's all about patterns pointing to a tuned cosmos, blurring science and the metaphysical. And so in the end, understanding on endless loop is what we seek to do. And humans hold the ace with raw experience, creativity from limits, and that wonder spark fueling the fire. So whether silicon or carbon, we're all mirrors bouncing the universe back at itself.